Alright, hello everyone. In this video, we're going to work on Game Zone. Game Zone is part of the offensive pen testing learning path on TryHackMe. I went ahead and started my nmap. I used the syntax of -st for the normal syn scan and sv to look for the version, -a for all the information I could get, or aggressive, whatever you want to call it, -t4 for the more faster scan, and -v for verbose to get as much text in terms of information as possible, and then -p- for all the port that is open and available. But so far we could only see 2 ports, so I suspect port 2022 is this SSH. I actually done this room, but not all the way to the root. I didn't answer the root flag or the user flag yet, but want to do a step-by-step on how to solve this room. So I suspect port 2022 is SSH, and port 80 is probably some sort of website. So we're gonna go ahead and start our Firefox and copy the IP and go to port 80. Okay, so to answer the second question here, first question doesn't have any answer, just, because it only tells you to deploy the machine. For the second answer, what is the name of the large cartoon avatar holding a sniper on the forums? For those who playing video game, we all know this ball character is. It is part of the Hitman series, and well, it is Agent 47, but if you don't know, you could copy this image link here and go to TinEye. Quite like TinEye because you could just paste the image. Well, not the link, but let's see here. Open image in a separate tab and then copy the image, and you could paste the image like this. You could either use this, I think the most informational one, it would be the IGN.com. I like it the most because obviously IGN is known for writing about video games. This article is written to talk about the history of Hitman. So by then, you kind of get where we're going here. And there it is, Agent 47. Or at first it was Subject 47, and then he turned into Agent 47 after he was trained and did all that experimental work and so on and so forth. All right, let's move on to task 2. Obtain access via SQLi or SQL injection. This description here going to explain us a little bit about SQL injection or SQL command. When you scroll all the way down to this, it tells you that you could manipulate the query and log in without any legitimate credential here. So we're going to go back to the login form here. You can see user login, and for the username, all we have to do in terms of SQL injection is type admin, because we want to log into admin, and we're gonna give it this one kind of half quotation mark sign here, just like the room suggests us, and then we're gonna type space or equal 1, and then dash space dash. And the password, you could just basically write anything, doesn't really matter here, or you could leave it blank, it's up to you. And that is, and we get to this page here. So we basically use the exploit to get into this page, and you could either use GoBuster, but you don't need to. I think this is good enough. It's say portal.php, and that is where we want to be. So for the third question, the last question of task 2, what page do you get redirect to after you did the exploitation of SQL injection? It is portal.php. So easy enough. We're gonna move on to SQLMap. SQLMap is one of those open source automatic SQL injection and database takeover tool. So most Kali unit already have this. I'm gonna let the nmap scan. It's not important anymore for us because I kind of know where we're going from here, because there's only 2 ports that is open. One is SSH and one is the port 80. All right, so we're gonna launch the SQLMap, and for the syntax, you could type the syntax here. But first thing first, we're going to use Burp Suite. So let me open up Burp Suite real quick. Burp Suite and start the Burp Suite, and we're gonna start intercepting this using the Foxy Proxy Burp Suite proxy, and go to proxy, intercept is on. Do a test search here. So you also want to do a test search here once you open Burp Suite. So we get this search item equal test. So we can copy this whole thing, copy that, and we're gonna create a file here. So either use nano. I like to use subblur, so I'm gonna cd to a special folder that I created. Mine is game zone. You could do whatever you want here, it doesn't really matter. And I'm gonna zoom in for you real quick. So just type game zone or text. Actually, text is better. So subblur game zone text. We're gonna save the file name game zone text. We're gonna paste the Burp Suite result here, the Burp Suite request, and save it. Now we have it. Go back to the SQLMap tab on the terminal. And for the syntax of SQLMap, so again, we're gonna type out this syntax. After we cd to game zone file or folder, I like to organize my folder into the name of the room. So for the SQLMap syntax, we're going to use tag R for the request, like we save on this text file here, and then gamezone.text, and tag dbms equal MySQL. So we want to look into this database management service, and then it is MySQL. This is the database management service we want to look into. And then tag dump to dump all the information out of that. We're gonna press enter. We're simply gonna answer yes to every question. So whenever you hit a yes or no question, just answer yes to all of it. It's that simple. So give it a little bit of wait. Again, if you have trouble, make sure you read the room description. It should tell you most of the steps. Again, I'm gonna answer yes to all the question here. Yes. Yes to all, yes to everything. Press enter. Yes. It should not be long. It's only gonna take about 5 minutes or so. So if you have a pretty decent resource allocate to this VM, it shouldn't take long. All right, the SQL dump is completed. So what we want to look at is this database here, and you could either copy this. I'm just gonna copy the hash here. That's the most important. Save it to a new file. Let's say it is agent47.hash. Okay, gonna save this as agent47, and we're gonna scroll up. So the answer of this task for the hash that we get from the table here, it is this hash. Start from the AB5DB and end with the 14. So just copy this whole thing here and paste onto the answer box. And for the username associated with the hash password, it is agent47. So it's really that simple. And what other table name? All you have to do is scroll up. Should say another table. Actually, not scroll up, scroll down. Last time I did it, it was scrolling up, but this time it is scrolling down. So whatever it is, just find the other table. It should say table:post. So the table name would be post. And that is it for this task. And next up, we're going to move on to task 4, cracking the password with John the Ripper. So if you're on a Kali machine like I do, it's not going to be that hard. You're going to simply, I have this tab ready up. And for our syntax, we're going to type out John agent47.hash w, tag w for the word list, equal sign. And then we're going to type out the user share word list, and then rogu.text. There we go. If you have this already unpacked and unzipped from the file, every time you just type a couple letter of the directory path and just press tab, it should automatically fill in the full name for you. So that's another tip for those who are new to Kali or like Linux in general. And then for the format, char256. So again, this is all given to you on the room detail here, but the image is so small on my end. Okay, so we have to type format here. That's fine. With two tag. And there it is. The password for agent47 is videogamer124. That should be the password here. And from then on, we could launch the SSH. So to get the user flag, we could use SSH and agent47 at the IP. So the syntax would be 10.10.105.57. Type yes. And for the password, my tip for you in this is to select these whole password here and just paste selection instead of typing it out, because sometimes you could make mistake and you could also make a mess. So there it is. We log into the SSH, and actually we're gonna pwd this to look at the directory. So we're at 1847. So all we have to do is type ls, and let me control L and type ls again, so I could make it on top of the screen without hiding anything. In this room, I'm just gonna blur half of the flag here because it's a subscriber only room. So I'm gonna cat user.text, and there it is, our flag for the user. Paste that, and we got that. We move on to task 5. All right, I clear out the SSH terminal so you can't see the user flag. And then for this step, all we have to do here is to run the SSH Tunnel PN or Tun PN. So type in the SSH, the same SSH that we log into with agent 47 username. Just type out SS TULPN, press enter, and what you're gonna see is these UDP and TCP port that are listening or unconnected. And based on the question here, how many TCP socket are running? I mean, there are 5. Last time I checked was 6, just so you know. But if there are 5 here, just answer 5, and that would be a correct answer. Last time I had it was 6, so doesn't matter, just answer 5. My guess, something happened, there's a bug or something. But there are 5 if you count the TCP port that is listening. And next up, we're going back to this normal tab on our local machine, and what you have to do is copy this part here, just without copying the username and add IP. I had mine already at 1847, and then we're gonna type out the IP or copy the IP here. So we basically gonna tunnel based on this diagram here. We're gonna tunnel the SSH and then have a browser opening connecting to some sort of site locally run on the machine on the SSH, and then we could log in through that site and basically have a administrator connection. So just type out that, and let me paste the password. Again, the password for this, for 1847, it is videogamer124, and we're logged in. So when you are logged in with this syntax here, SSH tag L 10,000 : localhost 10,000, that's the port that running the web server with the 1847 as the username, and add the IP address. Mine is 10.10.105.57. Password videogamer124. Once we have that logged in, we're going back to this browser and we're gonna navigate to. So all we have to type out after we tunnel the SSH, we're gonna type out localhost 10,000, and that should have us log into this webmin site here, server that is running, because we are tunneling to some sort of site, to the network, to the host. So we are connecting to this site we're tunneling of the SSH. So with this credential, what you want to log in with is basically agent 47, and the password, again, just like the SSH, is videogamer124, and we're logged in. And to answer this question here on task 5, and to answer this question here, what is the name of the exposed CMS content management service? It is webmin. And what is the CMS version? Just look up this webmin version, and it is 1.580. With that, we could exit from here, the regular SSH. Again, we want to keep this tunnel SSH open. Do not close this SSH. Keep that open. We could exit on this, and we could type search Floyd and then webmin 1.580, and then you can see this here. There is a exploit. You could either do this on SearchFloyd. I prefer searching it on Google because Google will direct us to this exploit DB here. So we're gonna move on to the next task. We're gonna try to use the exploit to get a remote command execution. So there are 3 ways to utilize this CVE here, 2012-2982. One is to use the Metasploit. So I'm gonna launch NSF console tag Q. So after we wait for the Metasploit to launch, NSF console launch, what we have to do is search for webmin 1.580, and we're gonna use 0 for correlate to the exploit. So use 0, and we're gonna type option to show option. So we're gonna type in to set all the required field, set password, actually set password, video gamer 124, set our host to the host. Okay, with a bit of trial and error, we find the right option here. So I just want to point out that the password is still video gamer 124, but the alt host here, we actually have to set it to localhost, so 127.0.0.1. Reason why it is because we are tunneling to this server of the CMS. It is still localhost, so the localhost IP usually always be 127.0.0.1, and the reason why it is because we are a reverse SSH tunnel to this server, to this CMS. So make sure you set that. I double check on this. It's SSH tunnel NP 127.0.0.1. So we set the all host to the local host and the all port to 10,000, and make sure you set the SSL to false instead of true. We set the username to agent47. That's the credential we want to log into, and we set the payload to cmd/unix/reverse, and the L port to the IP address of your VPN connection to TryHackMe. Mine is 10.13.47.211, and the L port is 4444. Again, if we could run this now, it should be connecting, and there it is. It is connected. All right, well, we should be set here. I'm just gonna type who am I. We are root. We bin bash to upgrade the shell here. You can see we are root, and we are user share webmin file. So we're gonna cd out and cd to root ls, and I'm gonna cat root.txt here, and there it is. We got the root.txt. I'm also gonna blur this flag halfway just to prove that I solved this room, and there it is. We could solve the room. But I also want to show you two other ways to do this room to get to root using the same exploit, the same CVE. C controls Y and then exit. And exit again. So keep this open. This is fine, doesn't matter. So there are two exploits I can use here. So just copy this CVE and Google it. So one is John Hammond. I already downloaded John Hammond Python script here. It is the same CVE. And the other one is this OstojaOfficial. You could also use this too. And this one is require you to do a little bit more git clone and stuff. So I'm just gonna do that. So we use the command that the creator gave you. Oh, we have to cd to CVE. And then do the same thing. So for this one, I'm gonna exit on this Metasploit too. I'm gonna cd to the game zone. I'm gonna ls. As you can see, jh.py is basically John Hammond CVE here, and with his Python script, we could use Python 3. So just to make sure, we use this exploit to get an easier script without even use Metasploit. So that's what I like. In case I run to this CVE or exploit on OSCP, or we could use this exploit to get root without using Metasploit. So for this CVE, we have to type this out. Actually, let me show you the whole thing actually. Type JH. It stands for John Hammond. It's abbreviation for his name. So the usage, we have to use tag T to target, tag P to port, tag U to username, tag capital P to password, and then tag C to command. So let me show you the full syntax here. So tag T to target. Target should be the local target because we're still tunneling the SSH. So 127.0.0.1. Port is 10,000. Tag capital U for agent 47. That is the credential we want to log into. tag capital P. For the password, it is video gamer 124. Tag C command here, and I just want to show you this really great tool called Hack Tool. It is an extension on Firefox. So all you have to do on this tool after you download it is to set the local IP is your IP address for the VPN. So if you connect, you TryHackMe via VPN, you have to type this IP, whatever IP you are set to. So, and then type a port. So I'm gonna use 777 for the port, and then all you have to do is copy this netcat reverse shell command here. It is a reverse shell command that, you know, it widely used on a lot of reverse shell. By doing so, let me show you. Tap and split a tab horizontally and zoom in for you. So I just want to show you that we could use this John Hammond Python script to exploit the system too. With this command, this whole command here, it is just a regular common reverse shell command. And all you have to do is type nc lvnp, basically start a netcat to port 77 because we correlate this port to our netcat port here. Start this port and start the reverse shell. And there it is. We also get root on this too. How easy. I just want to copy the bin bash real quick to upgrade the bin bash. And there it is. We are root. So who am I? And then cd to root ls. And there it is. We have the root.txt too. So this is the other exploit. Thanks to John Hammond. Shout out to his Python script. We get this exploit to run too without using Metasploit. And the third way here is basically the same kind of, actually I'm close to this tab. This is the third way we could do it. Okay, for this exploit, the syntax of this exploit is basically similar to the John Hammond Python script, but this time we use this. Let me see here. So we're going to type 127. Don't have to specify the command. Just type the IP 127.0.0.1. And then we're going to type a port 10,000. And then our username, it is Agent47. And then video gamer 124. And then we're going to type out our IP address. Mine is 10.13.47.211. And we're going to type out the port here. This time we'll use port 6666. So again, gonna type out the netcat to port 6666, have it listen, and let's see here. Boom. Login successful. And there we are root again. So there's 3 ways to exploit this. And I like this one the most because it has the most detail and we don't have to type out that much stuff. So I'm cd to root just to make sure. And ls, and there it is. We have root.txt. So 3 ways to exploit this. Do whatever you want with this information. I hope you solve this room. Very easy room to solve. Probably took me like 40 minutes the first time. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. Have a good day.